Hey everyone, Dan here with another video, and so for today, we're going to take a deep dive into one of the many original heroes introduced in My Hero Academia Vigilantes, the top hero hailing from the United States of America, the hero known as Captain Celebrity. And before we get started, let's aim for like 700 likes for this video. I know, now I'm getting cocky, but let's give it a try. And like always, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can watch all of my videos the minute they drop. And be sure to hang around till the end to watch my awesome outro. Also, a quick shout out to Pseudo Pigeons for my awesome coloring of Captain Celebrity for my thumb. Now let's open up the bar, so grab a drink and get comfy. This dude is absolutely wild.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Alright, so the pro hero Captain Celebrity. Now occasionally, I'm going to refer to him only as CC, so try not to get confused. CC's government name is Christopher Skyline, and in My Hero Academia Vigilantes, he comes to Japan to reinvent his image as a pro hero. Why, you might be asking, does a top hero from another country need to rework his image? Well, he's got a few problems to deal with. And put it this way, the guy's a walking HR nightmare. He's got a terrible amount of sexual harassment lawsuits accumulated. He's not the ideal type of hero. But luckily, he meets the Naruhata vigilante the Crawler, and he slowly goes from an absolute piece of trash into a mildly detestable human that now knows the right path to being a hero. Let's also ignore the elephant in the room that he kind of looks like somebody that I do not want to name. I mean, with that kind of haircut, you really can't not be a douche. I know how it seems at first, because his situation is a little bit culturally relevant to our current society. You have these people in our society with unchecked, remarkable amounts of power. And in the end, all it takes is one person with a powerful enough voice to help others come out and voice their fellow disdain. I know, it's pretty gnarly, but from my point of view, CC definitely deserves the hate that's forced him out of the States. I mean, this dude has so many sexual harassment lawsuits, his ex-wife Pamela made it her job to work with people filing lawsuits against him because of how lucrative of a business suing his ass actually was. It's even stated that he's absolutely broke because his playboy lifestyle provided enough evidence for his ex-wife to pretty much run the table on him during their divorce. So, the guy sets out for the land of the rising sun, and his time in Japan is spent with Makoto Tsukauchi, sister to Naomasa Tsukauchi, as she operates as his Japanese liaison and his personal manager, all while doing her dissertation on the Naruhata vigilantes. And lo and behold, the minute Captain Celebrity left the gaze of his wife, the nickname Flying Stallion went right back to his womanizer ways, and he tried to pull this bullshit on Makoto, and she let CC know that she was already on the phone with his ex-wife, and he immediately tried to save his cheeks by grabbing Koichi and saying that he was taking him on a flying adventure after his flirting backfires on Makoto, when, you know, she reveals backhandedly that she's on the phone with Pam, reminding CC that she has her on speed dial and she's willing to make the call at any time. Captain Celebrity is a massive flirt, and it gets him into loads of trouble. You can tell right off the bat that his coming to Japan is more for him to fluff himself being in the same town as All Might, and attempting to pull off more hero work than the current #1, rather than actually devote himself to becoming a decent person. And this mentality of his absolutely leaks over to his hero work. Also, side note, it's not specifically stated as to why he goes to Japan beyond improving his image, but in the movie Two Heroes, it's stated that Japan has the lowest crime rate in the world because of All Might. So if you wanted to reinvent your image, what is the best way? The best way would possibly be to outshine the current symbol of peace himself. And to do that, you show up in his city and you do better than him. But back to doing hero work. Like I said, his douche personality bleeds into his hero work. And on one particular occasion, he actually left Koichi to pretty much die until the media showed up to cover his rescue. And when the media did show up, he swooped down and saved everybody. The main kicker being, though, the guy only saved the pretty ladies, leaving Koichi to actually be responsible for one of the men in distress, only assisting Koichi when a rock almost crushed him by single-handedly hauling the boulder above his head, which I guess is a perfect time to segue into his quirk. He has a pretty amazing quirk, and simply enough, it's called flight. With this quirk, he projects a protective barrier that in some way protects him against wind resistance, heat, cold, and grants him enhanced durability. In some way related to the aura he gives off, he has like a secondary quirk of super strength. The limits of his super strength, though, have been displayed. He was able to hold up the Tokyo Sky Egg and prevent it from collapsing, but he didn't have enough strength to land the Sky Egg. As for his relationship with the vigilantes themselves, it's pretty shoddy as well. You have Popstep, who thinks he's a creep, and you have Knuckle Duster, who's a fellow pro hero that absolutely knows he's a creep. Koichi, on the other hand, has constantly had random encounters with the guy, noticing how much of a garbage person the USA's #1 hero actually is. See, Koichi's idol is All Might, and seeing this guy, he could not be further from him. And Koichi gets kinda pissed too when Captain Celebrity signs his All Might sweater. Not to mention, the one thing you'll never see All Might do is flirt with his admirers, or just random bystanders. I mean, we would see All Might kind of always deal out autographs and be a good hero, while CC, on the other hand, he outright just doesn't care. He max indiscriminately. And when it comes to the budding romance between Makoto and Koichi, CC constantly oversteps his boundaries with the poor girl. Despite Makoto being a strong, independent woman who doesn't take no shit, she's still able to manage CC's ego and his inappropriate behavior, even though sometimes Koichi is kinda left standing there as some dude whisks away his love interest, though that's not his whole story. He does develop as a character. Prior to the Sky Egg arc, he actually does some pretty heroic stuff, saving a bunch of kids and proving that he can be a hero to people. But most prominently, during the Sky Egg arc, the raid against the people that are creating the next level villains and distributing Trigger are in full effect. So running parallel to the Sky Egg arc, we have Fat Gum, Eraserhead, and now Masa Tsukauchi in the Onamura Pharma Corporation conducting the raid, while at the same time we have Koichi, Popstep, and Makoto in attendance at the Sky Egg for the going away party for Captain Celebrity. And at this point, Koichi has kind of begun warming up to CC, as he still finds him a little bit intolerable, but the acts that he's been doing, he's kind of showing everyone he can be a hero, like I said. But at this point, number 6 actually reveals that the bomber villains are created to specifically kill Captain Celebrity. And when the siege on the Sky Egg begins, CC immediately goes under the Sky Egg to prevent it from falling once Koichi gets sucked out the window. He clearly is not as strong as All Might, like I said. With several bomber villains pummeling him, it becomes evidently clear that he cannot handle this alone. And when Koichi, who's clinging to the side of the building, notices this, he comes to his aid. After the bomber villains finish their assault and the pro heroes Edshot and Best Jeanist do their best in assisting and taking down the bomber villains, an exhausted Captain Celebrity tells Koichi to tell his ex and their newborn son that he's finally become a hero they can be proud of. Koichi mildly brushes it off and looks to see Edshot assisting Best Jeanist in using carbon fiber cables to restabilize the Sky Egg for the time being. Koichi looks back to kind of be like, hey, we're okay, and notices that CC is gone. And he looks down and CC's falling to his death. And without a beat, he dives after Cap. CC is kind of at this point where he's reminiscing and kind of admitting to himself that he wouldn't expect himself to do something like this. And as he opens his eyes, he notices Koichi reaching out for him. Captain Celebrity then begins to freak out, wondering why Koichi would come after him. He wraps his arms around Koichi as tight as he possibly can, and his barrier appears around Koichi. And as they fall, Cap closes his eyes and begins to pray that if anyone survives this moment, please let it be Koichi. And as he braces for the fall, Koichi pleads for CC to fly, when they're suddenly saved by the pros in the area. Edshot actually has this pretty cool line where he states that the shadow heroes of today shall not perish. It was a pretty cool moment, as right then and there, both CC and Koichi are acknowledged by the hero collective. But suddenly, as they're saved, one bomber villain appears and latches onto the Sky Egg and explodes. Everyone begins to panic as Popstep is inside, Makoto is inside, when the resident Jimmy Olsen, who's in a helicopter with the Racerhead, calls Toshinori Yagi for assistance. But suddenly, without a beat, All Might appears and safely lands the Sky Egg on the ground, as Captain Celebrity truly sees how a #1 hero springs into action. We'll make sure to eventually go over All Might's Toshinori persona later on. The sheer genius of this character needs to be explained upon, and the moment was pretty cool because of it. Though, after the events of the Sky Egg, Cap's ex Pam comes to Japan to escort CC back to the States. And during his final press conference, he thanks everyone, and subtly implies his thanks to Koichi. And he states that because of a certain person, he's able to become a better hero. He doesn't explicitly say Koichi's name for the obvious reason, but the heroes atop the Sky Egg that day know that if it was not for the crawler, Captain Celebrity would have died on the Sky Egg that day. He didn't defend Cap, more than just him would have perished. But that's gonna do it for today's video, everybody. What did you think about America's Top Hero? I think that he's probably one of the most troubled heroes besides Endeavor to step into the pages of My Hero. And it was an absolute pleasure watching this guy go from a deplorable to a hero worth redemption. Also, if you looked closely on one of the panels that I used during this video, we actually saw Wash use their quirk. I mean, it's an obvious water type quirk, but it looked like a spin cycle. Let's hope that Vigilantes actually gives us a little bit more of these characters that are on the pro hero rankings, and we get to see a little bit more of their quirks. But either way, that's gonna do it for this week's video. Thank you all for watching, and until next week, peace out.